flying colors splash. Pins and patches, stories grow. Stitching secrets we all know. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses line so neat. Friendship's quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses line so neat. Friendship's quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Our Stitch by stitch they weave the tale. A patchwork life where laughs prevail. Patterns clash, but who can tell? Quilted chaos suits us well. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around.
Hello, everybody,
Hello.
and welcome to today's live. And I see we've already got lots of people popping in, and I'm just going to check my monitor to make sure that everything is fine at this end, and everything should be fine at your end. Yep.
Welcome.
I can hear us on the mirror. So, yep, you guys should be able to hear us and you should be able to see us. So, that's good. So, of course, who is number one? A legend in his own mind.
Who, me?
No, not you. Well, maybe you. But, of course, our friend Russ is right up there at the top. And, of course, he's got something funny to say about today's topic. He says, it's obvious your neighborhood is strange if you're in it.
What makes your neighborhood strange?
Well, I think Barb's got him hit with that. She came in second and goes, what about your neighborhood, Russ? Zinger! But up, Bob. Caroline is here. Hi, Caroline. And Jen is here from Australia, the land down under. Yes, that's what I meant to say. Under. New lips. I'm choking. Okay.
Time for trade-in.
Yeah, really. Julie says, Pop-Up So Day was great. Thank you for hosting, Stephen. Well, you're welcome, Julie. We always have a good time, don't we? And Sue is here, and Faith, and Karen B is here. And Julie's saying that, Sue, we missed you for the whole day. Glad at least I got to say hi to you. Yes, Sue had to leave us because her nephew's a big famous football player, and the game got moved up. How dare they, is all I can say. But we'll forgive you this time. Charlotte's here. Hello, Charlotte. Oh, Russ is answering back to Barb. My neighborhood is cray-cray in the hay-hay.
Well, that says it all.
These millenniums, really? I don't know. Phyllis is here. Hi, Phyllis. And Joanne G is here. Karen Lyles is here from damp Vancouver, USA. And Pat Wainwright's here. Good late afternoon from Elmira Corning, NYS, New York State. Weather's great. Hey, it rhymes. Dubrovka's here. Hi, Dubrovka. And hi, Al, because I know he's in the background. And they're back from their vacation is over. Well, hope you had a good time, Dubrovka. Gloria's here. Hi, Gloria. Oops, everything popped up. Kim is here from Halifax, and Inez is here from the Rock. Lydia is here from glorious Ottawa area. Sherry Cook is here as well from beautiful Georgia. And Melissa's here from Saskatchewan, here to pester you. Oh, Melissa, you pester me all the time. Why should they be any different? And Parm G is here from Vancouver, and Elaine Wood from Fergus, Ontario. We know where Fergus is. It's north of Guelph, because I went to the University of Guelph, and we've been to Fergus several times.
Many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, many times. It's a cute little town. So, anyways, I'm glad everybody is here, and I'm sure a few more will be joining us as time goes on. So, let's jump right into what I've been working on. So let me just pull it up on the screen here for you to see. Yes, the Stormy Sea blocks. I have one more done up in the far right corner of your screen. That one's the one that had to take the special ruler that I spent all the money on. And I have to make 4 of those. So I've got 3 done. I've got all the pieces cut out, or 1 done. I've got all the pieces cut out for 3. And yeah, it's a bitch. But I'm not working on this too fast. I average about a block a week. So yeah, about this time next year.
Well, it was supposed to be a block of the month quilt, so now you're just a block of the week quilt.
Yeah, well, so I'm ahead of it then, if it's a block of the month. Yeah. And thanks to my friend, and you probably know her, Mona, balloonist, as she goes on by, she got me the Abracadabra panel, which I fell in love with. Could not get in Ontario, Canada in general. It is not really too available. It's sold out everywhere. But she managed to nail it somewhere in the States, and she sent it up to me, which was very nice of her. So I have started working on the quilt that features that panel. I squared up the panel yesterday, and actually I've got 3/4 of the top done. I had more done after I took this picture, but you'll see that probably maybe on Idiot Quilter. I may get it done by then. So that's good. That's interesting. What's that on my screen? I don't know where that came from. I don't know if everybody else saw that or not. But anyways, so yeah, that's what I've been working on. And I've been working, oh, there's some of the pieces too. These are the other pieces that go into it. I'm not actually using all of the fabrics that go in this line because I don't have them all. But I went in my stash of Halloween fabrics and that, and I've got ones that'll work just as well. And I was experimenting during Pop-Up Sew Day with metallic embroidery thread. The top two, the one that looks a little darker, it's actually a silver, is a thread that Walter had. What was that thread?
It's the Monfil stuff Monfil sells. I don't know what brand it was.
Oh, okay. And the gold one is one, it's Bro thread. I bought it many years ago. It was cheap on Amazon, and that worked out okay. But then I tried to do one in blue Bro thread metallic, and it just kept breaking. That blue one you see there is not done in metallic. It's done in Floriani, my regular embroidery thread. These are going to go on those bags that I'm making for Christmas.
Based on the picture, unless they look different live, they don't really look.
They don't. No, they're not that sparkly.
Like I found that when I was doing, I did 2 of those nutcrackers, right? On the OES, I think it's the OESD nutcrackers. They're 3-dimensional, and it called for a gold metallic thread for on the lapels. They had like a sort of an embroidery of a gold color on the toy soldiers, and I did one in just regular embroidery thread, and then the second one I decided to use the gold metallic thread as it was suggested in the pattern, and I did that. And really, unless I really look closely at one or the other, it's not that noticeable.
I really don't think it is worth the hell that you may go through on an embroidery machine or even on a regular domestic machine to use metallic threads. They're very fragile. There may be brands out there that will work better than others. I don't know, but I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, and all that, and the metallic threads are usually a lot more expensive than regular threads anyway.
And you get a lot less of them. On the spool as well. So I don't know, maybe some of you have had great luck with them, and that's fine. I'm not having great luck with them, but I want to try this experiment with it. And like I said, 2 out of the 3 I used did work out, but I did have thread breaks. But the blue, for some reason, the blue just, it didn't matter what I did. And it also wrapped up around my thread cutter in the machine. I had to pull it out with
actually you're not supposed to use your thread cutter in the machine if you're using metallic thread. No, because it and it's hard to get it to stop using it if you're embroidering.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyways, now you tell me that. It worked fine. The thread cutter worked fine with those other 2, but not that blue one. Now, a few people have joined us. We have Suzanne is here. Julie's asking, Steve, did you get your little iron last night? Well, we're going to come to that, Julie. And to answer you very quickly, yes, I did. And we'll explain what that means for everybody else in a bit. Nicole is here from Laval, Quebec. Bonjour. Cheryl is here, listening while on safari vacation in South Africa.
Wow.
Jeez, you're on a safari and you're listening to us. I guess we should feel flattered with that. Don't let the lions eat you. A wimbawa, a wimbawa, a wimbawa. And that's a beautiful panel. Love the panel. Yeah, I love that panel too. Inappropriate Quilter, which is Zaza, is here. Hi, Zaza. And Judy Kafal from Lower Michigan is here. And Zaza says metallic threads are awful to work with even by hand. Yeah, they're just a totally different. Well, I don't know what they're made of. Metal. I don't know.
think they have a thread base and then they wrap
some kind of stuff around them. I don't know. Yeah. Melissa says Sherpa fur isn't worth the hell of trying to embroider in my opinion. Well, the piece I had, yeah, Melissa was doing the beaver, and if a few weeks ago I showed you the beaver with the Canadian flag, and I did the beaver, but I like to say that my beaver is a shaved beaver. I didn't use the faux fur or the Sherpa that Melissa's using, and I'm glad I didn't, because Melissa, who's an experienced machine embroiderer, is having problems with that. So now, what has Walter been up to? What you got to show us?
Well,
You went to your
I
sew
went
day.
to a sew day, so I guess I should sew when I was at a sew day. Actually, we did end up gabbing till about 11 o'clock before I started sewing. So I had just started this yesterday. I got quite a ways with it.
Yeah, no,
It's a new shirt for Stephen.
because the other one he made me has a hole, had a hole in it. He fixed it.
I fixed it, and I'm not sure how long the fix will work. But I had this fabric, and I thought, well, I'll use this fabric and make another shirt for him. Actually, I had it cut out already. The pieces cut out for it last time I went, because I wasn't sure how long the fix would take me to do. So, and last time I just worked on the fix. But anyway, yeah, so it's coming along. So I just need to put the collar on and hem it and stuff, and it'll be done.
Well, can't wait for my new shirt. And were there any weirdos at your sew day?
No, just the normal weirdos.
Oh, just the normal ones. So
just Brendan and Mark and Gail and myself. Nobody else.
oh, Karen wasn't there?
No, Karen's gallivanting in Vietnam and Thailand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that was his exciting day. And you said that Brendan and Mark are working on some kind of jacket.
Yeah, they were. There's a jacket I made under Brendan's supervision. That's a outdoor coat, but I used a cotton twill in it, and it's a really heavy duty cotton twill, and it's really, so the coat ended up being coming very heavy.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't really worn it because it's kind of heavy. But they changed the material that they're using to oilcloth, which is interesting because the one guy has oilcloth, and it does actually look oily. It's waxy. It's waxy in feel. But the other guy's got oilcloth, and it's very nice, lightweight, and it's a sage color.
Where'd they get their oilcloth?
They got it at Simplify Fabric. It's online retailer in Eastern Canada. They sell a lot of different fabrics and a lot of organic fabrics, and they're actually quite nice to deal with, and they do not ship to the U.S.
Huh.
They have never shipped to the U.S.
Oh, geez.
But it's a good place to look at different fabrics. If you're into fabrics, it's called Simplify Fabric. Simplify.
Simplify?
Simplify.
Okay.
I think they're in Iroquois, Ontario.
Oh, Iroquois.
Yeah, it's on the off of the St. Lawrence River. It's towards the border of Quebec.
Oh, okay. Must be a small place.
Maybe, but they have a good selection of stuff.
I've never heard of that.
They're only online retailer.
Yeah, I know, but I've never heard of the place that they were based out of. That's.
I think it's a very.
You mean Iroquois, like in natives?
Yeah.
Okay. So Kim says metallics are fine. It's the glow in the dark thread that are a problem. Oh, so Kim been having good luck with metallics. What's your secret, Kim? What brand of thread are you using? That's what I'd be more interested in knowing, because maybe there's a brand out there that's better than others. I know that they always recommend to go at the slowest speed. Well, I do anyways for all my embroidery. Walter doesn't. He goes at high speed. But
I slowed down the machine for Macau.
Yeah, well, I had problems at higher speeds with the old 15,000 that I had, and that has shell-shocked me for all time.
Well, your 15,000 went at 1,000 stitches or so per second, or per minute. And mine goes
800, doesn't it?
800
at the highest. I have it at 400. I have half that speed.
And I just leave it at 800.
I just leave it at 400. Because speed kills and breaks metallic threads. But I have it at slowest, And then there's the whole thing. Now we're talking Janome machines, the 550E. There is the whole thing about which bobbin to use with metallic threads. I use the red dot bobbin, but I know like Melissa always uses the yellow dot bobbin with things that she's doing. And the yellow dot bobbin, I tried that yesterday with the one that was breaking a lot. Didn't make any difference with that particular one.
She says she's using marathon thread. We don't have that here.
No, we don't have marathon that I can think of anywhere around here.
I don't think there's a retailer around here that sells that.
So that's I might look into that then and see. But I'm still not sold that at what any metallic thread costs and everything that you still have to do for metallic threads, whether it's really worth it.
It depends. I think if you have an application that you really want to use it in, it might be. But so far, there's nothing that I've embroidered that I really need it. I can always go get my bejeweler and see about bejeweler.
Your bedazzler.
My bedazzler.
Walter has a bedazzler. Remember those? They still exist.
Well, no, it's not actually a bedazzler. It's you can buy them on they're heat set tools. You can buy on Amazon. I bought it. I haven't used it yet. Brendan uses it all the time, and he says it works really good.
Of course, Brendan uses it all the time.
Well, he's a drag queen. So.
Yeah, so there you go. People are loving the fabric. And Lily is here. Hi, Lily. There's a metallic thread needle, too. Yes, I thought about that after the fact, and I do have a metallic thread needle, too. And I should have tried that. But I just got to the point where I went, the heck with it. But yeah, I thought about that later on. Linda's here. Hi, Linda. Melissa says she uses we were talking about this yesterday, Melissa. You use 90 weight bobbin thread with the high tension yellow bobbin case. Yeah. But you use that with all of your machine embroidery, don't you? But I mean, I'm using 60 weight in the bobbin. And
I've never used.
What's Floriani? 40?
40 weight.
Yeah, 40 weight in the top thread. And I always use the red dot bobbin case. But
I've always used the red dot, even with metallic and everything, and I haven't had any problems.
Well, aren't you lucky? Try the blue. Actually, the blue is my blue. You don't have a blue in the.
No, I don't. I do have a blue in that Madeira. I don't know what that's like.
And that's a metallic.
Yeah,
the Madeira. Oh, okay.
But there isn't that much on the spool.
No, I know. Like you embroider about 2 rows and that's it. It's gone with it. But anyways, I might experiment more. But quite frankly, I don't really have to do metallic for what I'm doing right now. So I'm not going to really waste my time or my energy or my frustration level over the metallic threads. Maybe down the road, I'll have a more specific purpose for them, and that's what I'll experiment then. For now, it's okay. Lydia says, looks like Simplify fabric now ships to the U.S. if anyone's interested. Shipping to the USA, again, all duties and customs included with Canada Post via USPS.
Okay, I haven't ordered from them in a while, so I didn't realize that they did ship to the U.S.
Okay, so all duties and customs included. Really? I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all with the tariff business and the whole bit. I still think you're going to end up paying because of the way they've changed that. I don't know. Maybe not, but they're absorbing the tariffs?
I don't know.
How that works? I don't know about that. Okay, Zaza. See you later. Bye-bye.
They may be calculating it on export and adding it to the order.
Maybe. I don't know. It's all up in the air.
Yeah, well, each business has their own way of doing it. So.
In fact, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in terms of how it affects my retreat. But we'll get there. So nothing else new and exciting at your little group?
No.
Anybody asking for more 3D prints?
No, not really.
Well, fine. Be that way. Oh, speaking of 3D prints, just as a side here, and we're talking about machine embroidery and different fabrics and things, Russ sent me a clip to the So Yeah guys, and he said, you should try this. What they did was they were making a plastic quilt. I guess they have access to a 3D printer, and they printed out squares of plastic, which is basically a couple of layers they laid down of PLA, which is the filament that is the most common filament people use in their 3D printers. And then they were making half square triangles. They were large ones. They were putting them on their sewing machine. They made the stitch width length a little longer, and sewed that, and then did what you usually do with half square triangles for making them, and then sewed 9 of them together into a large 9 patch. Well, yeah, I can't see real purpose for it, because like they said, well, we're not going to attempt to even try to quilt it. Yeah, because you're punching holes in plastic, and you get enough holes punched in plastic that falls apart, right? It's like perforations, especially if you're doing it on a long arm or something like that, to quilt it. I think their point was, and I'll tell you up front, I don't like the So Yeah guys. I think they're crooks, and I think they're scammers. Okay, I said it. Some of you will write me hate mail. Go for it. I'll just delete it, so I don't care. But they were talking about, to look at it on a more positive level, they were talking about experimenting with different substrates, like breaking out of the mold kind of a thing, which is what art quilters do all the time, because art quilters do not necessarily always use quilting cotton for their creations. They explore other types of fabrics and ribbons and embellishments and things like that. But I don't think printed plastic on a 3D printer is going to really replace quilting cotton in making a quilt. But it was an interesting experiment, to say the least, I guess. Of course, you couldn't press your seams because you can't put heat on it because you'd melt it. So he was basically just putting pressure on it. There's enough give in it. Actually, he didn't really show what it looked like when he supposedly pressed the seams. You saw it quick, but I know from experience, if you try to do that, bend it, it's going to come back up, and this is not something Acorn pressing solution is going to solve. So, and he never showed the back. He sewed these pieces together, but he never showed the seams at the back of it. So, but I guess he was just experimenting, whatever, pulling an audience, monetize that channel, whatever. But anyways, it was kind of an interesting thing that Russ sent me that link. Linda says, like your shirt, Walter, colorful.
Yeah, it's leopards.
Oh yeah, there's leopards on it.
Yeah, I think it's a stoff fabric, STO.
Oh yeah. I was looking at stoff fabric the other day, actually, for something.
Yeah, I got it at Quilter Quilting. They carry stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Melissa says, yes, I use it with all my machines. As when I started out with Brother Machine, it was recommended by Brother. I can use same pre-wounds in Janome as well, so it works well for me. Oh, okay. The 90 weight, she says, yeah. And Linda says, thought we were kicking plastics to the curb. Yeah, sketchy. Well, yeah, for the sake of the environment, I guess, but can we ever kick plastics completely to the curb? And I'm not going to get into the whole controversy with 3D printing and the amount of waste, what we call printer poop, because within the community of 3D printers, people who 3D print, we are upset with the amount of poop, but there are people working on a solution for that. And I think within a year, we're going to have systems that you'll be able to buy for home use, where you're going to be able to take your printer poop and recycle it into filament.
Yeah, but you mix all the colors together.
Well, that's the problem.
End up with a brown poop.
Yes, you'll have brown poop. So you're going to make a lot of shitty things. But I don't know. Someone will come up with something. They will. I mean, there's videos on YouTube where people show how they get rid of their poop, printer poop. They put it in microwaves and toaster ovens, and they get silicone molds, and they fill it full of this stuff, and they melt it down and press it in the mold. It looks dangerous. It looks toxic, because they say, oh yeah, there's fumes, and it also, like, you can't use the microwave or the toaster oven after you've been doing this, because the stuff permeates into the interior of those equipment. Well, most of them are using secondhand ones they picked up, at a thrift store or something like that. But it's a lot of effort for a lot of nothing. So Yeah. There are some daring ones that use blowtorches. Don't recommend. I don't recommend any of it. And neither do these people that are doing it. But, you know, they live dangerously. Linda likes stuff. Um, and so I'm not giving up my zip plastic bags. No, those are a staple. Sherry Cook says, hi, you guys are crazy. You just figured that out, Sherry? Hang around. It always gets a little bit more crazy. And we take that as a compliment. This is interesting that's coming up here. That popped up again. Are you guys seeing something on the side of your screen, an ad for something called Ace, and it's in French?
I bet you they're not seeing that.
Maybe they're not. And it's a sponsored.
Yeah, sponsored meaning that it's it's a paid for advertising.
Yeah, but I'm not, and I don't even have that turned on.
No.
See? Up
Well,
here.
I don't know. Somehow they've infiltrated your pop-up things.
I don't know. Well, maybe nobody else is seeing it. Maybe it's just us on that, but that's weird. Linda says no. Sounds like computer says no.
Computer says no.
Computer says they don't know what we mean by that. Okay, moving on then. So nothing else about your little sew day that stands out in your mind that was exciting and fulfilling?
No, we had a good discussion, but nothing too exciting.
Did you take lunch?
Yeah, I did. I took a sandwich and I had one of my sugar-free cookies.
Oh, how thrilling. I had a cucumber sandwich for lunch yesterday with jalapeno whipped cream cheese on it. It was absolutely tasty. We've got cucumbers again. How many we got?
We got quite a few now. We're getting
okay.
They're beginning to get big.
I don't know what you make a big pickle. I don't know. Actually, no, they're too big for pickles. So no, you're not going to get good pickles out of that. Judy says, I have an ad for the AccuQuilt hedgehog die. Oh, okay. Well, of course, it depends. You would get different ads if you're getting ads at all because of it's reading what you've seen in the past. It's something like that. So, yeah. Linda says, sounds delish, Stephen. It was. It's quite tasty. I quite like a cucumber sandwich. I wasn't all posh, though. I didn't cut off the crust and put it on a tea tray, you know, or something like that. Could have. That would have been fun. I could have brought that down and had lunch with everybody on the pop-up soda day. See how posh? They were grossed out because I brought down my Ritz crackers and sprayed cheese later in the day. I don't know what it is. People have this thing against sprayed cheese. It's wonderful. Love it. Absolutely love it. We're not going to argue about that. Okay. So moving on. Announcement. Sewing with me, Stephen. Wednesdays, as usual, 9 a.m. to 5 or to 4 p.m. Eastern time. All are welcome. Come and go as you please. Pop-up sew day. That was just this past Saturday. We had a good time. We had a lot of people there. And my theory is during the summer when it's nice out, people, you know, they don't want to be trapped inside. So unless the weather's really miserable, they're out and about doing other things. But as we're now starting to approach to the fall and possibly the cooler weather in some parts of North America and other places in the world, I have a feeling the number on a pop-up sew day will go up a little bit. Then we'll get in the middle of the winter and everybody will be on there, which is fine. But anyways, I think it was a good time. I got a fair amount done that day, and I think a lot of people got done. And if you've never been to a pop-up sew day, you know, it's not just us all sitting there staring at our screen and sewing. We have lively conversations about lots of things, safe conversations. There is no drama, and it's a drama-free zone. And people share what they're working on, and we saw some beautiful things. Carol, who came on in the last half hour or so, she showed us some batik that she had done 20 years ago. She had gone to, I'm not sure if she was in Indonesia or someplace like that, learned how to do this, took classes, created really beautiful pieces, and now she was thread painting them over top. And the thread painting didn't show up very well on camera because of lighting, but yeah, like this is what I mean by art quilts kind of a thing. This is, these are beyond patchwork kind of a thing. But you get to see this. And other people have this much talent too, like lots of talent, lots of interesting ideas. People share things, people support each other if you run into a problem, like we're talking about metallic threads and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not just a bunch of people sitting around and sewing with their head down at their sewing machine. We talk and laugh and have a good time and learn something too from all of that. So join us for the next one. When is the next one? Well, I'm in a quandary. Walter has discovered that his next sew day is on the 18th of October.
That was your original date.
That was my original date for my retreat, but that's been changed since, as everybody knows. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But I often like to have a pop-up sew day when he's off at his in-person sew day, because I'm all here by my little lonesome.
Well, you can come to our sew day.
I've did that a couple of times. I mean, it's not the people I hate. It's a different environment, lugging my stuff there and whatnot. Although I did actually think about that, but I haven't decided on the date for the next pop-up sew day, because if I had it on the 18th, right after that, the next Saturday is the retreat. And I'm thinking that might be too much, too close together. So maybe I'll have the pop-up sew day the week before it. When's Canadian Thanksgiving? I think it's the first weekend in October this year, but I'm not sure. Walter's looking that up. I might have it then instead of 18th. What's 7 from that? The 11th of October. When's Thanksgiving? Does it show you?
Yeah.
You got to be in October.
13th is Thanksgiving.
So
Day.
that is Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Then. Although that doesn't affect the Americans. It actually doesn't really affect me either. Us, because it's a Saturday. And so if anything, unless we decide.
Yeah, wait a minute. But when's your
25th.
The 25th, but the Thanksgiving weekend is the 13th.
Right.
Right. Well, my sew day is the 18th. It's on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your thoughts on this are what? I don't know where you're going with this.
No, I don't know where you're going with this.
But I said that originally I was thinking of having the pop-up sew day on the 18th of October because you were going to be on your
Right.
in person. But I'm thinking the pop-up sew day and then 1 week right after is the retreat.
Right.
It might be two major events coming that close.
No, I know that.
So if I backed it up to maybe the 11th, but that's Thanksgiving weekend for Canada, but it doesn't really affect me.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that part.
Because you don't listen to me.
No.
Ladies, can we talk? You know what I'm talking about with your husbands. You always accuse them of not listening. I used to think that was a lot of bull. It's not. It's true. It's true. Hey-hole. Anyways, yeah, so I don't know. Stay tuned. I'll figure it out. Let's see. Linda says, learned to thread paint taking Nancy Prince class long ago. Don't know who that is, but I'm glad you learned. Pat says, yes, YouTube is slipping in ads over chats. I just hit the X without even looking at it. That's interesting because I'm pretty sure I have that turned off. Yeah, there's something on, you guys can't see this, but on the screen that we're on for YouTube for connecting all this up, there's something called the ads automator, and it's turned off, which in my way of thinking, from what I know is, that means you won't get interrupted with ads during the live. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe this is something that YouTube is doing again, because YouTube does a lot of sneaky things and doesn't tell us creators or anybody else about it. So anyways, I'm sorry if you're getting ads, but it has nothing to do with me. Okay, I have no control over them whatsoever. Pat says she's on a cell. And it says, I got ads as well. Yeah, that's unusual. I'm looking up here at this button. Insert an ad. No, I don't want to insert an ad. So I don't know what that's all about. Well, we'll just have to put up with it. Okay. So stay tuned. I will make a declaration official in a few weeks as to when the next pop-up sew day is. So let's talk about, well, let's first of all talk about Sew Chatty this week. We had our video of the Buckhorn quilt show, and a lot of you wrote comments about how much you enjoyed that and how beautiful the quilts were, and they were. We'll definitely try to make it to next year's because it was a delightful surprise.
It was a nice little drive up there.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice area.
Yeah.
And also someone mentioned to me earlier today, said that I think in another few weeks time or something, they have a big craft show up there as well or something. So I have to go online and look that up and see what that's all about. Kim's not getting ads, and neither is Dubrovka. So, okay. Well, we won't worry about that. Okay, so everybody seemed to like the Buckhorn quilt show. So what are we doing next week for Sew Chatty? Don't know. Never do. Walter's bag?
We can talk about it.
Well, we can talk about it. We'll see. My people get to his people.
Do some stuff. Do some preparation.
Yeah. With all of that. Got to figure out the format of that. Because we don't want to really do it as a tutorial, but at the same time, we'll do it more as a demo, but we also want you to understand how Walter does it, because of course, like anything Walter does, it's not usually done in the standard way. He does his own thing, you know, because he's like that. He's all that in a bag of chips. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the retreat. I've already alluded to it. Yes, you know it's on October the 25th. I have all my speakers lined up. I've already told you that. And if you've missed who they are, Becca from Sew Becca, Ian from the Off Quilter Crafter, Adam from Adam Sews, and I have another, not so much a presenter, well, I guess he is presenting, John of Art East. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with Art East Quilt Company, John's company. He is a Canadian out in Cape Breton. He does those wonderful quilts that are based on like Anne of Green Gables, The Wizard of Oz, Peter Pan, and a whole bunch of other things, and they're all pieced, although a lot of people confuse them, think that they're paper pieced, but they're not. They are patchwork, totally. They're wonderful, very popular, and he's going to come on and talk about his latest projects. He just did a live presentation today, but it was for those of us that are part of his community, and with Adam of Adam Sews, because they announced that John is re-releasing the Wizard of Oz quilt. That's not what he calls it, but that's what it is. It's the characters from the Wizard of Oz. He's re-releasing it, and they're doing it with Tula Pink. And if you know Adam of Adam Sews, Adam is the god of Tula Pink. He worships at the altar of Tula. And he will be doing the sew-along for this new version of the quilt as well. And that starts in January, I think January the 15th. Now, you need to register for those kind of things, and at least buy the pattern, if not the kit. All of that is available on John's website. So just go to, get the hiccups, Art East Quilt Co. Just put that into your browser. You will find it, and you'll see it. It's on his page, and all the information is there. If you've never done an Art East quilt, I have done one. His instructions are phenomenal. They are so good. There is a lot of cutting. Need to warn you of that. In fact, it's become a bit of a joke. John actually has t-shirts that say cut, 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 cut. So, because there is. But the end result is well worth the effort. So you might want to check that out. But it's going to be a lot of fun with Adam doing that one. So, yeah. So John's going to be talking about his company, about what he has available for people. That day is shaping up to be really packed. We have presentations from Sew Becca and Ian. We have a presentation from Adam Sews. We have a panel discussion And we also have John of Art East. We will also have, and I always have this, a quilt show from people who are attending the retreat, their quilts. More about all of that coming out in 2 weeks' time. And yeah, it is going to be really packed. I think this is going to be the best one yet. So I haven't done anything about registration yet or talked about any of that. I will be producing a video for the channel where I will talk about all the ins and outs of all that stuff. Like in about, like I said, a couple of weeks, but in about the first week of October. And there'll be information go out to people on the mailing list. And yeah, so there'll be lots of opportunity to find out about it and how you register. It's a free event. It is absolutely free. Now, we also give out prizes. This year it's going to be a little different with the prizes because of things like the tariffs and stuff like that. I don't want anybody winning a prize and ending up having to pay for it because of tariffs. And John has graciously offered a couple of prizes as well. Now, he originally was talking about physical prizes. But I said, yeah, but what about the tariffs? Because if it's an American, and vast majority of the people that attend my retreats are American, even though I'm Canadian. Come on, Canadians, get in there. They might have to pay a tariff on whatever's coming across, and it could be more than what the prize is worth. So John has decided it's going to be electronic. It'll be a PDF. And we'll talk more about that when we get closer to the retreat, what is involved with that. But either way, I'm very thrilled that he has offered this. I thank him profusely for it. I'm also happy that he's a Canadian, and I do support Canadian companies. And so that's why I was really happy that John's going to come on and talk about his company a little bit. So, will there be time for you to sew? Yes.
You're going to ignore people and just sew.
Yeah, there's always that. I wasn't going to say it that way, but yeah, basically that's what it is. But no, you can sew because it's all done virtually. It's all Zoom. It is not recorded. And that's another question people ask me. Are these presentations going to be recorded? And my answer to that is no. And I'll tell you up front exactly why. If I was to record the presentations and you didn't, and why would you bother to sign up for it if you had something else you needed to do? You say, well, I've got to sweep under the couch so I can watch it on the recording. No.
The other thing is that the people that are attending, you don't really, some of these people don't want to be on camera or anything like that. So it's sort of a private event, and you don't really want to broadcast these other people on the Zoom. So it's boring for people to watch people on Zooms like that.
Yeah. But well, we're talking about the presenters.
Yeah, I mean, if you had recorded the presenter itself, maybe. But I mean, it depends on, you'd have to get their permission and everything else. So
okay, we're not on the same wavelength.
Never mind.
But never mind, you went beyond. It isn't any part of this. Presenters, people, nothing. There is no recording. There is no playback. Okay, it's a live thing. So yeah. Thank you for your help.
Some people are getting all upset because your gnome's foot is caught in the door in the back there.
Huh?
Your gnome is often caught in the door.
Oh. You people need to get a life. I will fix it for you. Happy? Happy? He was a bad gnome. I shut his foot in the door because he was misbehaving. Yeah. My form of capital or corporate discipline. Let's see. Oh my God. People, get a life. Like, what is this? Let's back up.
I think it started with Faith.
Of course it did. Faith says, I'm just concerned for your Valentine gnome. His little foot looks stuck in the door. Linda says, any quilt shows coming up? Yes and no. There is one we've heard about that's in a place north of a town called Newmarket, which is north of Toronto, which is October 31st and November 1st. We might go up to it for that one. We'll see when we get closer to that time, but that's the only one we know of right now. Barb says, Faith, I just noticed too. Okay, Phyllis, the ads were happening on Off Kilter Crafter Ian Live today. Okay, so something's happening with YouTube. It figures. Yeah. Barb, I think I can hear him sobbing. Okay, Faith, you little poop disturber. Yeah. Candace is here. Hi, Candace. Poor Inez, poor little gnome, bet it's broke. Oh my goodness, you people have imagination.
Linda can't see the disabled.
I don't see the disabled. Okay. Look behind Stephen's right here into the cabinets. Pat says it's being done on all live stream where the no ad.
Where there's no ads, supposedly.
Okay. Quilter is here. Oh, Mona's here. Hi, Mona. Greenland Katie is here. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Okay, so we're good now about the gnome. I don't have to call 911. He's fine. He's fine. Okay, let's move on to the question that was asked by Julie about if I got my new iron. Okay, I have a mini Aliso iron, which many of you own as well. I love that little iron. It's been great. Yesterday, it decided to commit suicide. It jumped off my table. I accidentally knocked it over and it hit the floor. Well, the floor is carpeted. It wasn't like it smashed down, but when I picked it up, it wouldn't turn on. And I tried lots of things for this, and it just wouldn't turn on. So I went on to Amazon and I bought a new one because I can't live without it. And that was yesterday, and it arrived around 5:30 last night, and I'm very happy I have it back. In the meantime, I have written to Aliso and mentioned that my iron doesn't work anymore. We'll see what they say. But you know, I kind of figured it's not even a cement floor. Like,
I mean, I've dropped my other iron on the floor a couple of times, and I've never had any problem with it.
And we're not talking about a 10-foot drop. We're talking about 2 feet.
Yeah, might be 3 feet.
Might be 3 at the most. Yeah, kind of a thing. So, yeah, nothing physically on the iron itself broke.
No.
When it hit the floor.
I looked at it briefly, but I couldn't see anything.
So we'll see what Aliso will do about this. But anyways, I can't live without that iron. I absolutely love it. Okay, so there's the answer to the question that Julie asked. Postal problem. Yeah. First of the week, I had ordered some filament for my 3D printer, as I do. And Walter went down to our community mailbox, used the key they get put into your little mail slot to open up the parcel compartment. And there's the box. No way you can get it out.
I tried.
About 1/8 of an inch of space all the way around. Now
you couldn't even get your, like, you know, there was a little bit more at the top. There's about probably not even
not
3
that
inches.
much.
No, it's probably about 2 inches at the top.
You took
so
a
you
picture
couldn't
of it.
get your hand in the top, but I couldn't get it on the sides because there was no room on the sides. And this is a great big huge. It's a fair good sized box, and it's heavy.
It's heavy.
And I tried even putting a couple of different ways of trying to yank it out, but the problem is that these community mailboxes, they have compartments in the back, and the post office can stick a box into the compartment, but then the compartment on the door that we have, when they close their front door.
Stop.
No.
You were not explaining this as well. Compartment at the back. The back of what?
No.
The back of your what? When the mail person comes to put these things in there, in the mail in all the slots, they have a key and they open up and the whole front panel opens up and swings open. And then they shove in everything into the slots, and then the parcel compartments, and there's 2 of them, they put the stuff in the parcel compartment, shut the big door, lock it. But here's the problem. They might be able to get the box in, even if it's real tight fit, But when they shut that big door, there is a lip on the inside that about a quarter of an inch that goes all the way around of metal
Of the individual compartment.
of the individual compartments. And therefore, you lose the space to be able to get your fingers in to get it out. And this has happened to us before, many times before. And every time I contact Canada Post and I eventually get somebody, they let the parcel or the mail person know, and the mail person gets it out, brings it to my doorstep, apologizes profusely, and tells me the same story every time. Well, I wasn't working yesterday. It was a temporary help. And they just don't understand how to do these things. And I said to her when I got the same story the other day, when she came in and says, you know, that's funny because that's the same story you told me the last time. What a coincidence. I said, is there a certain day of the week you don't work and there's a temporary? Well, no, just sometimes. I could see right then. Liar. Could see it in her eyes. Caught her in the lie. She even admitted that she had trouble getting it out of the mail slot, even though she had the front door open to retrieve it without that lip, because there was so little space in this compartment. And she's the one who put it in there.
And it's a heavy box.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you can get a heavy box and shove it in, but try and get it out again when you don't have any levers.
Yeah. So, through channels with Canada Post, you know, usually you have to go through several little peons before you get to the upper echelon. An upper echelon called me 2 days later and wasn't sure what my complaint was, so I explained it to him again. And I anticipated what he was going to tell me because it's not my first rodeo, right? And I said, so look, I said, before you start giving the rundown, first of all, I have discussed with other people in your corporation about better training for their postal workers to make them aware that this is a problem. 2, the design of the community mailboxes, this is a flaw that's built into them. And I've been told that you know that, and you're redesigning the community mailboxes, and slowly but surely you're replacing them all over the place. And I said to him, and we both know that's not going to happen, don't we? Because Canada Post is deeply, deeply in debt. They have employees who are striking all the time because they want more money and better benefits and all that kind of stuff. But there's absolutely no money because it is so poorly managed. And you see, it's a federal service, but it's not really run by the federal government. The federal government many, many years ago made it something, is it a crown corporation?
Yeah, I think so.
And so it's kind of federal, kind of not, kind of private business, but kind of not. It's kind of weird is what it is. So yeah, that's not going to work. And I said to him, and I told him about what she had told me, and I said, I don't believe her. But I said, I have my parcel now, and I'm sure, and he says, well, you know, we will go over this. Well, he was going to put in some kind of note somewhere in the ether. I don't know, to let, you know, make them aware of all of this. None of that's going to happen. He just wanted me off the phone because he had to deal with a crazy old man, kind of a thing. And I said, well, thank you very much. I said, we'll be talking again, I am sure, probably not too far into the distant future. The next time I get a big box and they're too damn lazy to bring it to my door.
Yeah, with the exception of this problem, the community mailbox is okay.
We're used to it because we've been doing it for over 30 years.
But yeah, I know some people still get mail delivered to their door, but because we were a new subdivision 30 years ago,
yeah,
we got community mailbox.
Yeah. Linda says she just got one of those irons. Can't wait to use it. Do BBN, you find it easy VHF to grip with those 2 knobs on the side?
Yes.
You don't grip it with the knobs on the side.
No.
You grip it from the handle. The knobs on the side are for steam. Yeah. The handle, though, this is the second version of this iron they came out with. The first one would have burned your knuckles off.
Yeah, I think the first one didn't have an automatic shut off, so
No.
it would get really, really hot. And the newer ones, the Aliso 2s, I think they're called.
Yeah.
they have an automatic shut off. And actually they're quite nice because they have a button right at the top for your shut off, and it tells you basically, it's very visible as to whether the iron is on or off.
And they take less than 30 seconds to heat up.
Yeah.
And the heat is good in them. I don't bother with the steam. The water holder in it is not very big, but I don't use steam. So, but I love it. That's why
I mean, if I knew that I was taking my iron to the retreat yesterday, if I hadn't gone to the retreat, I would have loaned them mine, but I needed it for the retreat.
Well, at the time you went to the retreat, I still had my iron working.
No, it wasn't. You said you broke it.
Did I tell you that already? Oh yeah, I came out and said, "You'll call me an idiot," and he did. Linda says, "Sorry, typos. When I type fast, it adds letters." Yeah, my fingers get tied up on the keyboard too. Barb says, "What time do they deliver mail to this box? Maybe wait for the mail person." You know, I've thought about that. I don't know. Usually, I'm not sure what time they come.
I think right lately. See, they do vary depending on who's doing it.
Yeah.
It's usually sometime in the morning around 11, I think.
Yeah. I have thought of getting a lawn chair, sitting out there, you know, thermos of coffee and the whole bit, bundled up and wait for them to come. But that might be creepy. Linda says, "Yep, sub-carriers just throw stuff over my fence." Oh, okay, so I guess it could be worse. Well, at least you get it. It's not stuck. Yeah, some places still get mail delivered to the door, but not in our subdivision. Gloria says, "Stephen, we have that same problem with our community mailbox. They put the package in and we can't get it out." Yeah, I know. This is a common problem. And Walter I wrote a message about it on their Facebook page because oftentimes they don't like this to be known to the public. Right after I wrote it, I checked for it. 5 minutes later, it was gone. They took it down. So they actually do active monitoring on there.
I wrote a message on Twitter. Twitter is good because they can't get rid of the message.
Yep.
And I got immediate. I didn't even I did an @Canada Post, but they have another one called @Canada Post Helps. @Canada Post Helps responded to me and said, "Oh, send us a direct message and let us know if you've got mail or whatever."
Problem is, you didn't know what the direct message email was.
No, I wasn't.
They
so
didn't
I just
tell you
responded to them.
Yeah, I'll send you a direct message. I'll drive up on your doorstep and blow you away. But
they don't like it when you advertise that they're idiots.
And then Dubrovka says, "Al here. I know exactly what you're talking about, Steve, because same happened to us with a bigger parcel." Yeah. You see, I'm not unique. And I said this to the guy. I said, "I am not unique." And I could hear in his voice, he knew that. He knew that. This is like, here we go again. Then do something about it.
I've even had it where they folded an envelope and stuck it in one of the boxes. And it's a big envelope, and I couldn't get it. I had a hard time getting it through the hole on the other side. Like, I mean, even as it was folded, and I had to scrunch it up more and be able to get it through.
Yeah. Do not spin, fold, or mutilate, you know, like, yeah. So quite frankly, and I'm sorry if any of you are postal workers out there, but I was on the postal worker side for a raise in that. And after something like this is just stupid tactics. No, you don't deserve a raise because you're not doing your goddamn job. Smarten up. So, you know, if you get more money, will you make you smarter? I don't think so. I don't think so. Stupid is inherited. Okay, so anyways, off the soapbox on that one, right? So let's move on to about our neighborhood and how strange it is, okay? And you might say, well, as Russ said at the very beginning, and I know he was joking, and I will assume he was joking, and that's the way I will take it, because if I was to assume that he was being serious about what he said about me being crazy, that's why in the neighborhood, then I would have to go down to where he lives, and I would have to kill him.
Don't get us wrong. We do live in a nice neighborhood.
We do. But we're going to talk about our neighborhood. Because if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I took you on a little walk with me when I go out for my morning walks every day. And I decided to video some of that walk and show you what our area looks like. Walter got upset with me because he says people can find where we live and then they'll be... No, I was careful about that. But, you know, 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 I was careful about that. But, generally speaking, as Walter says, our neighborhood is actually very friendly. We don't have, and very safe. We do not have any problems with the neighbors. There's not hooligans running up and down the street. We don't see a lot of wife beating on it, or that kind of stuff. It's it's a very nice neighborhood. No, it is not a gated community. I know that may be where some of the Americans' minds went, but here in Canada, we do not have gated communities. They're actually not allowed. So,
Well, mainly because they don't. It would cause a problem with the snowplows.
yeah. So we do not have gated communities, and we do not have an HM. What do you call it? HMO or HOM?
Homeowners Association.
HOA.
We don't have those except for areas that have like the townhouses.
Yeah.
They have
Condos.
They're condos, but they're like townhouses. They may have a something that they pay into, and they do have a certain amount of say as to what you can do to the outside of your house.
Like that. But generally speaking,
but usually detached houses and stuff like that, you don't have that.
So, but speaking about properties, I know that are they HOAs or HOMs,
HOA, I think.
Something, whatever. These homeowner associations that Walter was just talking about, they often tell you, no, you can't plant a tree there. No, you can't do this. We don't have that. But in our neighborhood, most of our neighbors, 3/4 of our neighbors, keep their property very nice. They keep their lawns cut, their bushes pruned. They try to fight the weeds because
in Canada you're not allowed to have pesticides. So
yeah. So, but except unless you hire a professional weed lawn service, and they're allowed to have poison. So, but most of us,
some people do around here have really nice lawns because they hire a service. So.
Yeah, for it. But for the most part, people keep up their properties, There isn't peeling paint or stuff like that. People are very conscientious, which is nice. We have a lot of trees in our neighborhood. The city planted those trees.
And I have a million leaves to rake up in the fall.
Yeah, because when we moved in here 30 years ago, the tree was a sapling. It is now out the front. And the city maintains the trees, and they come around every year and they prune them where they need to be pruned. And sometimes they take out trees, but they replace them for the most part. Like if a tree gets a disease or something like that, they will cut it down, dig it up, and plant a new one in there. So, that's all part of our taxes that do that.
Kim McGowan out east says she has an HOA.
Oh, does she? Oh, okay.
So do they tell you what you can and cannot put in your yard, like your plants and stuff like that?
Yeah. Do they have a control? That's interesting, Kim, because I didn't think any place in Canada had HOAs, but apparently they do.
Well, they don't around our area, and I don't know of any.
No. So, what was I going to say about it? Now, having said that people keep up their property for the most part, now there are some that don't. And their lawns are green, but the green is because it's all weeds. It's kind of like that next door to us.
But we can complain to the city, and the city does have a certain amount of control.
Now, on our walks, we go past one property that's a few blocks over from us. And for the longest time, we weren't sure if anybody was even living there because there was a car in the driveway that looked like it hadn't been moved in months. It has
flat tires.
And has flat tires. It's kind of a corner lot. The weeds were high. They're getting high to the point where the city will come and they put a thing on your door. And Walter saw a thing on their door when he walked by, but he didn't go up and read it. But basically, it was a notice that if you do not cut these down and maintain, like fix up your lawn, you will be fined. And funny, after that note was there, they went out and did a half-assed job of cutting it down. Basically, when they cut it down, things were so tall, it was hay that they had there. And I've noticed it's starting to...
Well, actually, they cut it again last week.
They do kind of a half-assed job of cutting it, like, would it kill them to trim? But apparently.
I don't think anybody permanent is living in that house. I
No.
think they are sort of watching it, but they're not. There isn't anybody living in there.
Yeah. So you have that. Now our subdivision has a number of townhouse section on this. There is a major road that goes in front of our subdivision. We're on the back half of our subdivision. We're in the posh area. Not really. But you've heard us talk before that we back onto a forested reserve on there. Well, at the very front of the subdivision, there's a major road. And along that road, separated by a sidewalk and another street, are townhouses, rows of townhouses.
Yeah, and they're what they call freehold townhouses.
Yeah,
So,
and what we like to commonly refer to as the slums. I know it sounds snotty, doesn't it? But
actually, for the most part, they keep.
no,
up
they
their
keep up
houses, too.
their properties too. It's just
There's one or two that.
yeah, it's high density kind of area and that kind of thing. We do have a sort of a creek that sort of separates that section of our subdivision from our section, and I call it the moat. And I'm still campaigning to get a drawbridge. Well, never mind about that. But yeah. But for the most part, people keep up their properties, and you know, there's not a lot of garbage laying around the street or anything like that. So it's a nice area. Very desirable. But lately there have been some. What was that?
I don't know.
Oh. Huh? If you think it could be serious, ask me to call emergency services for someone you trust. What the hell is that? Well, that was weird. My iPad came up.
Someone is at the front door.
Okay, things are weird. Things are happening. We were talking about the weird neighborhood. Now they're trying to get in and, oh my God, they're going to rape and pillage us. Okay, this thing's going nuts here. I don't know what this is. Walter's gone to check. Anyways, weird, very weird. That's probably somebody trying to sell something. That's the one problem we have in this neighborhood. People coming around trying to sell you something, or you know, or to help you find Jesus. Yeah, Jehovah Witness. So, again,
Yeah.
driveway sealers. We have had like, that's about the fourth or the fifth one that we've had in about a 2-week period. Anyways, there are some weird landscape choices though in the neighborhood. There is one place that has full size statues in their front lawn.
Cement statues.
Cement statues, like Greek.
Aphrodite.
Yeah, Greek goddess like statues. You know, think of Athens. You know, there's only, and there's not one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's at least 5 of these statues, and they kind of come off their front step and down along their front sidewalk. And
I mean, our houses are not that big because the yards are 50 feet wide, and from the house to the end of the driveway is about 30 feet. So it's not big.
yeah, so that's kind of interesting. And those have been there for quite a few years now.
It's an East Indian couple.
Yeah. Well, we'll come to demographics too in a moment. Because you gotta be careful with what you say about that. But anyways, yeah, there's some weird landscape choices. There's one
They
that,
also have a fountain in the front.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
part of the
okay.
statuary. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of inconsistent though. The fountain in the front is not Greek goddesses. It's 2 little kids with an umbrella standing up on this pedestal that's like a bird bath kind of thing, but it's big.
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's tastefully done. It's not.
Well,
that
it's
bad.
not.
It's not terrible.
No, it's not like. It's more of a curiosity than an eyesore. You know, you definitely take a moment if you've never been down in this subdivision, take a look at it. That's for sure. With it, but now another landscaping thing, they like to refer to them as prairie gardens. I like to refer to them as weeds that flower. They fill their whole front lawn. They've dug it all up. they've put in a little wrought iron fence or something, and a rock. Oh yeah, tombstones. We'll come to those. And the rock, and they have these wild flowers growing in it. And so basically, in one way, I'm sure it's a way to avoid having to cut your lawn because it's all this. In another way, well, one of them has the rail fence effect, you know, that you see in farmers' fields, kind of a thing happening. Maybe they're from out west. I don't know. A little piece of home for them. But you kind of interesting with that. Then there's been this whole thing about rocks. Just a few doors up from us this summer, the guy dug out the sides of his lawn that were closest to his driveway. Dug quite deep. We think he was trying to bury his wife, but we're not sure. And filled it full of black rocks. Smooth black rocks. And in our subdivision, there are several places that have done this rock effect. Again, I think it's so you know.
Well, I think a part of the problem was there's a small section of grass that grows between some people's driveways,
Yeah.
right? And it's
and
hard.
a narrow section.
Yeah,
so
it's hard to keep the grass growing there.
yeah.
Right. So it ends up dying, and then it looks crappy. So what they've done is they've put these rocks
Yeah.
in to keep from having to maintain that piece of grass.
Yeah. Now, it looks nice. Actually, it's kind of attractive. But here's the problem. We live in Canada. In the wintertime, we have snow, a lot of it, and snow has to be shoveled. And
You can't really shovel
you
that.
can't really shovel that. And if you get too far over on your driveway into it, you're digging up rocks.
Yeah, but that's usually where you have to pile your snow anyway. You have to pile your snow where the rocks
So
are.
when are you going to put rocks in ours?
No, I'm not gonna, because we don't have one of those thin pieces of we don't have a little piece of land in between our houses. We have a lawn that's joined with the neighbor's lawn. And then we have
I'm aware I live
on the
here.
other side of the driveway, we have a full lawn. We don't have a strip of grass like that.
I didn't know that. My God, maybe we should go out there and you can point it out to me. Better yet, take a picture. So, my point is that they may think it's low maintenance, but in the wintertime with ice and snow, things get shifted around and whatnot. So you're there reorganizing your rocks because some of them do two tones.
Well, actually, the thing that I think's the nuisance is in the fall, all the leaves land on the rocks, and you have to try and rake them.
I mean, some of them get out there and I've seen them, they blow them
Yeah,
away.
or suck them.
Yeah, usually into like the neighbor's lawn, but whatever. But I mean, okay. Then there's the tombstones. They get these huge decorative pieces of granite or whatever kind of rock they are and plop them down in the middle of their front lawn. And they may put a few flowers around them. A couple of them have actually had engraved on them their house number. They look like tombstones. I mean, oh, who'd you bury there? You know, like
Maybe it's one-stop shopping.
maybe it is. I don't know, decorative. And haven't seen your wife lately. She under a rock? What? Or I guess it puts a whole new expression on where you've been. Under a rock? Possibly. But anyways, interesting landscape choices that we have in this neighborhood. And then of course there's the ones who they get real posh. They don't asphalt their driveway. They interlocking brick them. One this summer had their whole driveway done. It looks really nice. This year,
Yeah, after a while they begin to sag and the weeds start growing
up between them, and they start to shift, and they lose their color a little bit, and all that kind of stuff.
Or their car leaks oil. And
Yeah, on that and the whole bit. But for now, it looks very nice. Or some of them actually go another. There was a house when we first moved in the subdivision, and that down the way that had an interlocking brick driveway, very nice, and they had embedded in it lighting. It was like a landing strip, you know, up the driveway. I don't know if that comes on anymore.
No, that one,
I
the
think-
lights don't come on
I think they
anymore.
burned out. I mean, looks really great
when you first get
when
it.
you first get it, but they're not low maintenance
No.
to do that because interlocking shifts. We had interlocking done on our front step. Our front step is concrete.
Now is.
It is now. But when we moved in here, well, it was what was
Well, the first step was concrete.
yeah, concrete. But when we had some landscaping done in the front of our house, a raised flower bed and that, out of, you know, interlocking bricks, stone and stuff like that, and they resurfaced our front step, all in interlocking brick, and it looked great. And then we had a water problem, and it started to shift and whatnot. And you see, in this climate, if water gets under your bricks, and they do, and they freeze and unthaw, freeze again and thaw, it shifts everything. So what we eventually did was we had that all torn away, and we have a concrete step in that area now, a nicer one than what we had originally when we came to the house. And we have a walkway along by our driveway that's made out of that too. And the guy who put it in did a really nice job, and it's easy to scrape the snow off, shovel the snow off it in the wintertime, and it's looking still good. And that was quite a few years ago we had that done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
2016, actually.
Yeah. So, anyways, now I noticed that Kim did talk to her about, she says, yes, when we bought, we had to agree to the rules, fence height, shed has to match the house, yard seed it within a year, plus fighting over our own, who owns the private road. Okay.
Yeah, so like you must be in an area where you have a private road, whereas
Yeah.
we have a public road.
Yeah,
so.
ours is public. Linda says, put some alligators in that moat. Oh, I wish there was a statue of David. Yeah, but it's not. And no farm animals. Okay.
Well, that's our city rules, is you're not allowed
You
to
can't have any farm animals in the city. Yeah. Different culture. And Barb says, I wonder if their backyard is full of statues too. Have no idea. Never been in their backyard. Dubrovka says, those statues are very expensive. I'm sure they could put their money to better use. Well,
They also have very expensive cars too.
Yeah, so they probably got the money for it. But I was wondering if they're in the business of this, or
Well,
they have relatives, and
That could be.
you know, but they don't have a sign saying, hey, you want one of these, contact, or something like that. I don't know. We've never spoken to the people, so we don't know. Aphrodite statue, yeah. Barb says it will be the shits to shovel snow off of interlocking brick. Yes, there is a problem with that too. When they start to shift, you catch the blade of your snowblower or your shovel or whatever on it. So yeah, Diane Curtis, ads are definitely coming over me. Chat. It started last week on our live I was on. Yep, nothing we can do about it, Diana. That's a new thing from YouTube again. Linda says, sometimes ideas don't work out in the long run. Yeah, it sounds like a good idea at the time, but... family on the road is here. My husband wants to get a 3D printer. What do you recommend? Bamboo. Okay, so... Yeah, seriously.
Anything bamboo.
Anything bamboo. As a company. Research it. They are a little pricey. Not that bad, though, depending on what you get. Right out of the box. They are plug and play right out of the box. You'll love it. I know I have 3. Okay, so since we moved in here over 30 years ago, the demographics have changed a lot. When we moved in here, it was mainly Canadian, Caucasian individuals. In fact, most of our city was primarily, the majority of people were Caucasian. Now, our subdivision, I don't know what the percentage would be, but I would say that it's a higher percentage for sure of usually people from India, some Afro-Canadians as well. We have a very mixed community now. It is no longer, white bread at all. Now, I'm not complaining about that. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I'm not being racist here. I'm just saying how the demographics have changed. Well, the demographics in Ontario, according to the last census, which was 2021, and I'm just finding the statistic here, which says what Toronto's made up of. Now, here we go. Okay, I'll put this up on the screen so you can see. According to Statistics Canada, in 2021, in Ontario, 23.48% of the population was Canadian, 21.21 were English, then 15% Scottish, Irish, 15% French, German, Italian. So we're talking about, for lack of a better term, white Europeans. Okay? But then we get into the Chinese at 6%, East Indian 5, Dutch 4, Polish about 4, First Nations 2, and then down to everybody else. That was in 2021. We have noticed when houses go up for sale in our subdivision now, the new people who have bought the property usually are from Indian descent. Again, not complaining about it. They are lovely people. I see them when I go walking in the morning. I speak to them.
Friendly.
They're very friendly. And some of them, you can smell what they're cooking, and it smells absolutely delicious. I have been so tempted to stop. There's one Indian couple that I see regularly and always say hello to when they're on my, and I'm so tempted to stop and go, have you got a really good recipe for buttered chicken? But then that might be considered racist. I don't know. But, you know, I am not complaining about having this in our neighbor, these people
But
in our
that's the way
neighborhood.
it's going anyway in
Across Canada.
Across Canada. Even when I worked full time in Pickering, which where I was working, we had a very multinational staff.
Yeah. And that is the trend in Canada anyways.
We there's a lot of East Indian type restaurants popping up around here.
And, you know, that is the nature of our country, and our subdivision reflects that. In fact, a couple of weekends ago, there was an Indian family, and I think they were having a wedding. They had a big tent set up in their front lawn. And I was out at about 7 o'clock in the morning walking, and all these guys arrived. They were all dressed in the same outfits, and they were definitely East Indian outfits. And I think they were doing pictures. And there were some ladies in some very beautiful saris there as well, coming in with baskets of things and whatnot. So I think it was a wedding. And Indian weddings tend to be very, very elaborate, and they are like all day, all night affairs. They really celebrate. Walter went out later that night for a walk, and you said what? They were dancing?
No, they weren't dancing. They were just all milling about mostly the garage. And just it was basically they were having conversations.
Yes. I hope they invited the neighbors.
Yeah.
Of course, the neighbors may have all been East Indian too.
Yeah.
In that particular spot in the subdivision, but I'm sure the food was good or whatever. I did have one complaint, and it isn't because they're East Indian. There was garbage on the street.
I don't know. I walked by. I didn't see too much of garbage when I walked by.
Well, maybe they cleaned it up by the time you went by,
okay.
but in the morning there was garbage, and it was blowing a little bit.
Oh.
Now, that wasn't massive amounts, but there was garbage from it. But you know, that's not because they were East Indian. Anybody having a big party, that's you know, if you're not vigilant about it. But for the most part, in our neighborhood, yep, lots of representation. Now, we do have an older population in this subdivision as well. We used to joke that when we saw a for sale sign go on a house, we knew someone had a funeral. That's how old. I mean, the lady that lives across the street who still cuts her own grass is what, 95?
95. She cuts her own grass.
Yeah. Walter goes out and helps her in a snowstorm, like blow out her driveway, because we don't want her to end up. We kind of watch out for her.
She also has, I think she has a couple of rooms in her place that she rents out. And I think part of the rental agreement is that they clean the driveway. So,
yeah. But the weird part about our neighborhood, when I say that it's older people, is we don't see a lot of kids. Now, there could be a reason for this. Kids don't play on the streets anymore. Their parents don't let them. They're in the house, buried in a computer game, I swear, with that kind of thing. And even at Halloween, when we first moved into the subdivision, we had a lot of kids on Halloween. Like,
We had almost 200 the
Yeah.
first time, yeah.
now we're lucky if we get like
20.
20 kids in front of that. Now, part of the reason might be where we live on the subdivision. You see, kids haven't figured out about the candy. The townhouses are much more, there's a lot of them and they're closer together. Don't have as far to walk to get that candy. Here, we're single dwelling homes and we're a little bit more further spread apart. So, hey, that's effort. I'm not working for this candy. I'm going to the doors. Kind of. Don't know if that's true or not.
I have a feeling that's true.
I think it is. Yeah. But yeah, we don't see a lot of kids. There's a couple of the people who moved in next door to us about how many years ago? When the other Terry and Beth moved out.
I think they've been there
Has it been
since about
10?
2015, so it's been 10.
10 years?
Yeah.
They had 2 young boys. Well, the young boys aren't young anymore.
They have girlfriends.
They have girlfriends, and I think one of them anyways is graduated now from high
Yeah.
school, and the other one probably about to. So yeah, they grow up, and then down the road there's a guy. He had a couple of sons. In fact, they used to deliver the newspaper when there was such a thing.
Yeah.
And we had the older one. Sometimes when we go away in the wintertime on a trip, we hire him to shovel our driveway while we were gone and that kind of thing. Well, they're all gone. They've
Yeah.
all grown up and gone somewhere or other, whatever. But don't see a whole lot of little kids. Now we do have a park in our division, and you do see
there's
small children there.
The ones that when we walked by the house, there was a birthday celebration thing. This
Yeah.
somebody put like
It's 40.
You're 40 years old.
Yeah, got
and
underwear older than
they
that.
have small children still, and
Yeah.
they take them to the park.
So yeah, I mean subdivisions go that way though. If you've been in one for a long time, you see it age, and then a new crop come in. But right now, houses are not selling in our subdivision. We've noticed that there's several up for sale.
There's in general in Ontario, there's a slump in the real estate market right now. And part of the reason is the hotels or the houses are quite pricey.
Yeah, when we moved into this house 30 years ago, this house cost us $210,000. That was with the upgrades we put on it. And that was a lot 30 years ago. Now, our house supposedly, depends on who you talk to, we can list for $1.1 or $1.2 million.
I think we're more like at 1 million right now.
Right now, it's dropped, yeah.
Yeah, it's dropped.
But a lot of people are still trying to get that $1 million for the house, and people aren't buying. The market is gone
The
down.
townhouses are selling, brand new townhouses are selling for $1 million right now.
Yeah. Now, that may sound to some of you like a lot of money for a house. Welcome to Southern Ontario. The GTA, Greater Toronto Area, which is where we live. Yeah, everything is expensive as hell here. If you go out further, if you go north of us, east of us, prices come down.
I mean, and we don't live in that huge of a house.
No, we
don't. Our lot is 50 feet wide and 100 feet deep.
Yeah. And our house is, well, it's a raised bungalow. And if you count finished areas in the house, it's about, what is it, 3,200 square feet?
Well, we have 1,600 square foot upstairs and 1,600 square foot downstairs, so 3,200 feet.
Yeah. That's not really a big house. Not on 2 levels.
On 2 levels, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing. So, yeah. But that's just the way it is with real estate these days. And if it's a nice neighborhood, too, then, and we get real estate agents at our door every now and then wanting to know if we want to sell our house. And I go, yes, I do. I want $2 million for it. And then they laugh, and I go, I'm serious. Then they tootle away from that. So, let's talk about the other walkers that I come in contact with, because I go in the morning. Walter goes at night because he likes to peek into windows and take pictures, because he's just like that. So there is one guy, though, we both know. We call him the creepy guy. This guy, he rides a bike some days, but lately he hasn't been on his bike. He's been walking. He wears dark sunglasses.
He's
day or night.
Thin.
He's very thin. He's an older gentleman, but I don't think he's as old as us.
No, I think he's probably in his 50s.
I think he's probably early 50s or whatever. He will not look at you when you pass him. He will not say a word.
He'll make a beeline around you
Yep.
sometimes.
So I've made a point now. Every time I see him, I go, "Good morning!" And he
I
looks
have
at me.
seen him talk to the odd person.
His upper lip quivers. Oops, got a thumbs up on that one. His upper lip quivers a little bit. I'm working on him. We'll see. But he kind of, I don't know why he gives me the creeps, but he does. You know, there is a school nearby. I don't know. But then there is the nice German lady that I met. I've seen her many times, and we usually pass on the sidewalk, and it's usually in the same part of the subdivision when we pass, and she will get off the sidewalk when I'm coming and go in the grassy part of the boulevard. And I go, no. I said, you stay on the sidewalk. I can go around. It's okay. So the other day we stopped and talked for a minute, and I could hear she had an accent. Now, at first I thought, I wondered if it's a Dutch accent. So I said to her, I noticed you have an accent. Are you Dutch? And she goes, no, I'm German. And I went, oh, okay. And so we talked about, you know, Holland, Germany, all this kind of stuff. She loves Dutch pastries, Dutch cake, all that kind of stuff. And she'd been living here for 60 years. So I'd say she was probably pushing 80. She might have been over 80. But spry, very nice, very friendly lady. So that was nice to actually speak to her. I don't know what her name is. Helga. I don't know. Something. So her. Then there's the stroller cat lady. Now, this is a thing, apparently. There are people, I know one that is in our sew group on Wednesdays. They take Kitty out for a walk, pack them in a stroller with a little cover on it so they can peek out and everything like that, and away they go, which I think is kind of cute. Because, you know, you ever tried to walk a cat? You don't walk a cat, you drag a cat. That's the only way they're going to go. But in the stroller, well, why not? Servants, push me around, driving Miss Daisy the cat. So I've looked in and I've spoken to her, but she's trying to get away from you with the cat. I'm not going to steal your kitty, okay? I like kitties. I just want to say hello to your kitty, but whatever. And then there's the dog walkers. Don't get me started. Okay, I like dogs too, but you see, some of these dogs are huge that they have.
Yeah, there's one heavyset guy that walks two great big massive German shepherds.
Yeah, and I don't know, is your dog friendly? Does your dog bite? If you remember Peter
I didn't
Sellers.
tell you the other week I saw a police officer in full uniform walking a dog. I wonder if it was a police dog.
Was he cute?
Yes, he was.
Oh. Enough about our fantasies. Anyways, yeah, now I'm all flustered, getting hot. Here, fiddly-dee, Rhett. So anyways, one lady has two cute little doggies she walks at the same time. We were about to pass each other, and I said, your dogs are really cute. I said, can I pet them? She said, oh yeah. I said, they don't bite, do they? She says, oh no, they'll love it if you pet them. So, oh yeah, they did. They're just all over it, and they were so cute. But then there's this other lady with the two big dogs I was saying about, and she does get off the sidewalk and go into the road, and they look like, one's a golden retriever, I think, and I'm not sure what the other dog is. Beautiful dogs, but I haven't yet said to her, can I pet your pooch? Because I don't know, I don't want to have it swallow
I guess
my
they're
arm.
just also afraid that they're big dogs. They're afraid that they might. You look like a fragile old man. They might not want to jump up against you.
Yeah, what? Do I look like a 2-bite brownie? What? Anyways, but there is this one guy. Now, he lives in the fortress. We call it the fortress. His house, he is constantly working on.
He has the best lawn in the
Yes, he does. He has a
God.
really nice lawn. But he also has it barricaded. He built a short, like about a 3-foot high stone wall on either side of his driveway. He's got his whole lot fenced in with wrought iron, including his front doorstep, and he has a dog that would kill you. He keeps the dog on a heavy chain, And when he's out walking it, it's a, what is it? It's a
I
Rottweiler?
think it's a Rottweiler. I'm not sure.
This dog wants to eat you. It's tugging at the chain, and it's not that tugging on the chain. I want to come over, give you kisses, and let you pet me and scratch me behind the ear. It's more like,
I mean, I've
you look
come
like dinner.
across him when he's been walking the dog, and he makes a beeline way around you. He won't cross your path. So
No, he knows too.
and he does have the dog muzzled when he walks.
Yeah, but one day I was walking on the opposite side of the street away. There isn't a sidewalk on his side in front of his house. So I'm a good, from the front of his house, what, 30 feet?
Yeah, or more.
More. His wife was out watering the lawn, and the dog was on the front porch chained up. As soon as it saw me, it just lunged on that chain, and I'm going, oh my God, if that chain breaks, I am dead. They're going to find pieces of me all over the subdivision, if they can find pieces of me. And she wasn't real. She kept yelling at it. Be quiet! Stop that! Yeah, that dog just made it worse. I'm went around the corner and got the hell out of there real fast. But yeah, then there are some people that walk their dogs. They see you coming, and it's like, okay, let's play chicken. I'm on this part of the sidewalk. You're on that part of the sidewalk. Who's going to move first? I usually do. I'm not going to chance it. But you know, I have nothing against people walking their dog. Dogs need to be walked. I like dogs and everything. But you never know how they're going to behave. And I think the onus is really on the owner to, err on the side of caution and make sure their dogs are away from you. I'm an older gentleman. Making the older gentleman cross across the boulevard and walk in the middle of the street where a car could hit me. Then what are you going to do? Yeah, but whatever. But for the most part, people who have dogs, and there's a lot of dogs in this neighborhood, have them, like they have them under control, and
Yeah, we're talking about the four-legged dogs, right?
yeah, not the ugly people that are in subdivision. We're not talking about them. Oh, and then in the morning, kids are funny. I just said there's not a lot of kids. Well, they do come out in the morning, the high school kids, to catch their bus. They're all buried in their earphones are in. They're buried on their phones, the whole bit. They never look up. I don't know how. I've watched them get on the bus. They never look up. They never look left. They never look right. The bus shows up. They know it's there. The door's open. They walk onto the bus. I have yet to say, well, I have spoken to a couple of them. Like as I went, well, good morning, kind of a thing. And a couple of them will speak back. But for the most part, they're buried. You do not exist. Okay, well, yeah, I'm an old man. They're probably going, oh, here comes that old pervert that's out here at the bus stop every day. Yeah, well, I'm not. But anyways, and don't get me started on what the girls are wearing to school. Yeah, and the boys too, for that matter. So there's that. And then someone brought this up on the day about the walk that I put on a thing, about our cars parked sideways in the driveways. Actually, in the part of the driveway that's beyond the sidewalk but before you get to the road. And wanted to know if that was common. Yes, it is. Is it legal? No, it's not. People have, most of our, at least for the houses, we have 2-car driveways.
And they only handle 2 cars because they're not long enough to handle 4 cars.
Because there's a sidewalk. And it's against the law to have your car parked over the driveway, over the sidewalk. So what a lot of them will do, especially at night, they're not supposed to have their car parked on the side of the street at night. The city will come around and ticket them, and especially in the wintertime, because of snow plows. So, yeah. So what they do is they put their car parallel to the road on the driveway, part of the driveway that's on the other side of the sidewalk. You can picture that.
Yeah, because of that part of the site, most houses in our area, the part that's paved between the road and the sidewalk is not big enough to put a car
lengthwise.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. And yes, it is illegal.
Yeah, because it causes a barrier when you're driving down the street. You can't see beyond the car further down the street. So supposedly it's illegal to do that in our city.
In our city.
There is a city that's a couple of doors down, a couple of cities over, that apparently it is legal to do that.
Yeah.
So
it depends on the bylaws of your particular city. But yes, I answered that question because someone asked about that. Okay, so but generally speaking, this has been a good subdivision. We've enjoyed living here. We don't have any plans to move out of it anytime soon. And yeah,
We've been here
very
30
safe.
years.
Been here 30 years. It's a very safe neighborhood. So yeah, so I thought you'd like to know about our neighborhood. That's our neighborhood. So we did have some comments. We're way over time, so maybe I'll save them. I don't think there's anything here pressing about anything. Nope. And some of these actually we've kind of answered in what we were talking about today. So yeah. So, and let's just see just one last look at comments people are making. Don't want you to think that we're ignoring you.
You got a 3D printer.
Yeah, I did that one. Zaza says my brother lives in Vancouver, which has a huge Chinese population. They own a lot of second homes there, but still live in China, so the houses sit empty. Yes, that's a problem in Toronto too with condos, absentee landlords.
But they have laws now in Toronto that they do something if they sit empty. I can't remember what it was that if you have a house that's sitting empty, they tax you higher or something like that.
Yeah. And Parm says, go ask your neighbors for recipes. We love to share our food. And she is Punjabi. So,
Thank you.
Parm, if you got a good recipe for tiki masala or butter chicken or
something similar.
We love Indian food. We absolutely love Indian food. So, yeah, we're always looking for good recipes. Betty likes the song. Thank you. Zaza says, kids grow up by parents, but parents still live there. The subdivision I stay in is like this. It used to be full of kids. There are hardly any now. Yeah, well, they grow up. They move on or get hit by cars. Well, but enough about what I like to do as a hobby. Perhaps the walker who does not interact has autism. Well, Carol, there may be a problem that way.
Yeah,
it is possible.
I have seen him talk to other people that live on his street.
Yeah. It is a possibility.
Yeah.
But how do we know if he never speaks? So, yeah. We have strolled puppy lady for about 4 puppies. Oh, that'd be so cute. I know a woman, Zaza, who has a backpack with a porthole for her cat. She takes the cat for walks in it. I have seen that too. Not in our subdivision, but I have seen that. You're more likely to get bitten by a small terrier type dog than a big dog. Yeah, maybe. I'm not taking the chance. Okay? I mean, I do want to pet them and switch them behind the ear, but not at the risk of possibly losing a finger or a hand or my life. She probably sees that you are wary, so just gives you space. That could be. Yeah. So, okay, well, that's it for us today, people. Thank you for joining us in. Okay, it's time to go. For joining us. And I hope everybody has a good week. Stay tuned next week for all the usual videos that we put up and whatnot. And yeah, have a good, what's the rest of the left? Okay, I gotta go. Blah, 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 blah. Well, you're a real help. Not.
Have a good rest of the day.
Good for you. I'm glad you could say that. You know what I mean. Bye.